I created a series of prints over the past 6 months titled Attached, Pack Light, Please Don't Leave, and Your Dreams Will Never Come True. And they all explore a similar theme, the problems people face when going along to get along. They explore how to have more in a have-not world, experiencing the self as distinct from the mind. Because the mind runs on programs, belief systems, and half-truths that set us up to fail. And if we want to get the most out of life, attain our goals, and eliminate all of our problems, we must acknowledge what we have already and just simply give up all of the self-hatred. Rather than lamenting on the past and hankering for the future, focusing on what we do have in life and having the courage to be weird, strange, and different is how we manifest our heart's desires. It is easy to manifest joyous, blissful, happy, prosperous lives instantly when we take our soul back. For all 4 prints, I utilized figure drawings to depict the themes of my work. In all 3, there's an expressive, emotionally intense woman centered, and I made sure the composition drew the viewer to the human experiencing the pain of living in the mind. I hope the viewer relates to the figure in the forefront and thinks of a time that they have felt the same way. I then critique this emotion with the artist statement, as emotions are all reactions to the thoughts in our minds. We mustn't control the emotions, but rather the thoughts, and we are capable of not thinking and just being in the moment. And my pieces all serve as visual reminders to get back to the state of being as ourselves rather than the thoughts we attach ourselves to and emote through. So attached depicts the figures physically conjoined throughout their face and torso, and I explore what we call a problem. When we're not able to accomplish what we want, not able to be how we want to be, or not able to feel how we want to feel. We find ourselves in heartache after heartache, disappointment after disappointment, when minute details of life don't go exactly our way. And this arises from attachments to things outside of the self. If we are attached instead to who we are, then everywhere we go, we're having a good time, bringing joy, beauty, love, harmony, and inspiration. If we take a look at where all of our attachments are, that is where all of our suffering is derived from. We're attached to the family, the religion, the corporations, the house, the boat, the car, what we look like, constantly in a state of anxiety and fear of loss of future happiness. This mindset is running everybody. When immersed, though, in nature and reconnecting with the true self, it becomes easier to notice the sources of suffering, what attachments exist, what is being promoted, and what is being protected that is not part of the true self. And we cannot detach without an attachment to something else, because attachment is human nature. This awareness fosters a deeper attachment to our authentic, creative self instead. So because the figure looks like she's longing to be detached from whatever entity is grasping onto her, I just wanted this to signify as she will always be in a state of suffering if she's attached to anything besides herself. So as long as she is connected with herself and only attached to who she is and always trying to protect that instead of attaching to anything and everything, that will be a state of bliss instead of this state of suffering. I learned through this process, because it was with a dry point plexiglass, I learned how to make a dry point plate with an etching scribe and to put ink into the dry point lines and clean up properly. I learned how to embrace a slow process and how that helps me feel centered while creating art. I used to be very impatient when painting. It was always like a one and done session, but now it's taught me to take my time, be more patient, and good things can come from that. It brings me closer to myself and what I truly want to create instead of just rushing through it and seeing what happens. I have more of an intentionality behind my creation, and I feel more connected to my authentic creative self. And I learned a new tool to bring me further away from my own attachments to the external and closer to my attachment to myself and who I really am through this process, because it was slow and it helped me to take the time to connect with myself. My next print in the series was Your Dreams Will Never Come True, and this depicts the figure longing for something attached to a rope that she is holding, looking up into the distance, implied by the image cut off / borders. And I explore the human tendency to dream, wish on a star, giving the power away to that star instead of themselves, and hope their life away, basically. Your dreams will never come true. You can visualize it, you can contemplate it, dream it, stay in your mind about it, thinking of it. But people who do this are always wondering why and bitter about their dreams having never come true. They never did anything, they never made anything happen for themselves, they never took their heart's desire and acted it out, they never became it, they never manifested it at the level which is necessary in this reality for it to become truth. Additionally, if we're too controlling about the way that we want things to be, if we're too specific, if we have too many guidelines and outlines for how we want things to play out or in what time period we want something to play out, we're always disappointed by the outcome because nothing ever goes exactly according to the plan. And that's another thing, like attaching yourself to the outline. With this, I learned how to make a print with a copper plate and with Moishi Smith and with an etching scribe and dipping it into acid and cleaning up properly and how to use aqua tint. I learned how to embrace a slow process even more, times 20, because this took so long. It took an incredible amount of patience, and it also, like, I had to plan out how much time I would put it in the bath for. It was a lot of mental math and learning how to use different things on the fly, and yeah, it just helped me to learn how to adapt to different situations and how to adapt to different materials I'm nowhere near used to. I've never used acid in any of my art projects before, and the acid would basically cut the metal, the copper metal, and make the lines so that the ink can go in it and transfer to the paper through the press. That was something I'd never come close to doing before. I made a few errors that made my print not come out looking exactly as I had imagined, which is kind of ironic because the theme was Your Dreams Will Never Come True. And I learned through this piece that even your art doesn't always come out looking exactly how you had pictured it, but that's kind of the beauty of it, right? After a few weeks, you look back and you're like, oh, I'm actually glad it came out looking like that. I think in mine, I had wanted the rope to be the darkest and her hair to be a little lighter, and for whatever reason, her hair came out the darkest and the rope didn't come out as dark. I don't know why, because I put it in the acid for longer with the rope stopped out the rest of it, so I don't understand how that happened, but I think it was a problem with the aqua tint. I may not have applied it evenly. Even if my art doesn't come out looking precisely how I imagined it, that does not mean I have failed. It is okay to let go of what could have been and just enjoy what it is, and that's like symbolic to life and also relates to what I wanted the piece to represent, which is kind of funny and ironic. And so the next one is Pack Light. My next print in the series is called Pack Light. It depicts a woman walking through the forest clinging onto plastic bags that she is holding that appear to be weighing her down and stressing her out. There are just too many to carry, and she is in a rush to get somewhere, it seems like, and walking fast and stressing out. And this represents the idea that people live in their memories. They cling onto photographs, keepsakes, stuck on how it used to be. If I could go back and do it again, change this, say that, do this. We are often nostalgic of a time that was seemingly better than the one happening right now, and we're always going there, looking in the past, feeding the narrative in our minds, breathing into it with oxygen, giving it life, and without us thinking it, breathing into it, metabolizing it, all of that, it wouldn't exist. We are our past life's life force and life source, and memories live off of us. They destroy our present moment like a parasite, thinking, analyzing, playing in the mind with all that has been said, done, forgotten, remembered, and this is simply a false entity that needs constant energy and stimulation to exist. If you think about it, does the past really truly exist? Can you touch it? Can you grasp it, or does it only exist in your mind? The only thing that we actually have is the present moment, and we're spending that moment thinking about what used to be. It is perpetually costing you the successive moments of now. It's too big of a bag to carry. It's too heavy. And our desires that we long for in our hearts simply pass us by, and we become victims of them never manifesting because we were using our imaginative power that we hold innately to imagine a fictive reality of the past, hankering on the future, lamenting on the past, always looping in this constant cycle of what could have been, should have been, what will be, maybe, what won't be, what could never be. It doesn't matter. It's all, you're making it all up. It's not even real. All of these memories and all of these future anxieties, it's all just baggage that we're carrying along in our present moment of now. And it's time to pack light and let go of all of those bags and baggage. I learned more about how to use a printing press with this one. I again used a copper plate with an etching scribe, the Moshi Smith acid, to put ink in the lines and how to clean up properly. And I also learned how to use soft ground and the a la poupée method. I actually sold that piece. I sold my print of the a la poupée one. It was like I made the bags red and the rest of the lines black. And basically you just take a sponge and you make that part red and then the rest of it black. But yeah, I sold that one. Thank you to Devin. Yay. Embracing a slow process really does help me feel centered. Like, it just really just cemented it in place. This makes me feel good. Be forced into taking it slow. There's no rushing this process. And if you rush, you're just gonna make a mistake and then you have to go all the way back and start again. Because I made a few errors that led me to needing to reverse some of the lines that I had made. I basically had like really intense cross hatching on her chin that I forgot to stop out because I had used soft ground. It's a long story. But I had to dig it out with a polisher for like 3-4 hours, just like shoveling the copper out and greasing it, a grease to make it polished, and then like taking more out and trying my best to make it flat instead of the like goatee looking appearance. So like this texture, because I had used soft ground, I accidentally got it on my on the chin of her, so I had to polish it out, which I had never polished metal a day in my life before, but I learned that day. And so yeah, I made some errors, and I learned through the concept of my piece to let go of my attachment to my memories of what could have been if I had just simply not made that stupid error, and realizing that this is literally fiction. It didn't happen. It never will happen. So why am I thinking about it, causing myself so much grief while I'm shaving it away? I'm just like freaking out, like, how could I have missed it? How did I miss that? I wish I didn't do that. I would have been done already if I didn't do that, because I would have been printing already, and now I'm wasting a whole day reversing my mistake, blah, 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 blah. But instead of just existing in the moment in front of me, and a slow art process like that really gives you the time to reflect on how you're creating and how you're getting impatient with yourself and all of this. It shows you the errors in your ways, I guess. It shows the ways you can grow psychologically, because this is symbolic to, like, if I make a mistake in my life, right, then I'm probably lamenting on it for a whole year after it happened, because I'm just in so much grief that I made a mistake and wasted so much time, and there I go, wasting even more time and not focusing on my present moment, just thinking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda been, where I'd be if it hadn't happened. The way we create is very symbolic to the way we live the rest of our lives, and I think that, like, that's why I like making art so much. And that's why it's so therapeutic for me, is because it just spells it all out for me. The last one, Please Don't Leave. It depicts a figure clinging onto a dove with force, cutting off the dove's ability to use its wings. And rather than doing the harmonious and natural thing, letting go of the dove, letting it fly away and be free, the girl is afraid of being abandoned, in order to solve her problem of feeling alone without the dove, she restricts the dove's movement to an extent of injuring the dove's wings. And this represents the way we try to find solutions to our problems by thinking about them, when in reality, the thinking about them solves the problem. Every problem the mind solves, it then causes two more. There is absolutely never a permanent solution when the problem is solved artificially and inharmonious for the good of all. Rather than thinking away all of our problems, we can instead trust our inner guide to solve the problems for us. Our inner guide is closer than breathing. Once we live in harmony and trust in ourselves in each successive moment of now. So when she's clinging onto that dove, she's thinking to herself, well, I can't be alone. I've never been alone. I've never been without this dove. How am I just supposed to let it fly away? I can't let it be free or else I'll die. I need this dove in order to survive, all of that. Cutting off its circulation, hurting its wings, even though this dove is who she loves more than anyone in the world, but she's like, please don't leave me, and hurting the dove. And so it's inharmonious for the good of all. And I just think that that's symbolic to the ways that we solve our problems sometimes inharmoniously to the good of all by thinking about them, overthinking them, and doing what our mind tells us to do to solve the problem, and then it then creates two more. The dove that she loves can't fly anymore. They might have a difficult relationship now. The relationship changes anyways because she's restricting the movement, not allowing the dove to just be free. And the more harmonious thing to do for ourselves in life is just to let ourselves make decisions, trust ourselves, and trust that we will always figure it out. Trust that we will always have ourselves inner guide that is closer than breathing. Trust that that has our best interest, and just let ourselves naturally do what we need to do. It's not always about what we want. Sometimes it's about what we need. And I think that when we allow ourselves to live in harmony and just go with what's natural and what feels right in each moment, that's when most of our problems are solved, if not all. I don't have any problems. People always tell you, like, you gotta have problems. Everyone has problems. I don't. Why would I tell myself that I have problems? Why would I reiterate and feel bad about something so much to a point where it becomes a problem that I need to solve? Then I will never be happy. Then there will always be another problem. Then I'm always thinking, trying to get over, trying to move on from something, or I just don't have any problems and I'm living in each moment, and I take it to my inner guide to figure it out as the time comes. It's gonna be okay. Everything will be okay. I learned more about how to use a printing press for sure to make a photopolymer plate using film and UV light exposure. I'd never done that before. I learned how to put ink in these specific lines. They were much more shallow on the photopolymer plate, and I made an error that initially led to my print not looking exactly as I imagined again, because that's just the nature of printmaking, I learned. There were like water stains on the plate that I had to basically print away at. So like I just had to print multiple times to get the water stain to fade away on the plate. The more I printed, the more it faded, and I utilized cotton swabs to speed up that process and kind of just like polish it away and make it fade a little bit faster, so that it wouldn't appear on the print. So I do have a lot of artist proofs for this one because I had a lot with that water stain. And so yeah, I also made my own paper. Shout out Devin again. My friend Devin taught me how to make my own paper. So basically I shredded, it's gonna sound crazy, but I work in a kindergarten class and I shredded the drawings that they gave me over the course of the year to make my own paper, because I find at the end of the year when I'm teaching and I'm letting go of the kids that I'm not going to be teaching anymore, it's kind of hard not to develop the attachments to the kids that you're with every single day for 6 hours a day. It's just inevitable, like you're going to develop some type of attachment to them. And so part of me wants to hold on to them like the dove, like don't move on from kindergarten, stay in kindergarten. I want to teach you next year. I want to see you next year as much as I got to see you this year. And I could tell that since I made this paper and kind of like symbolically talked about my feelings towards that, by printing it physically onto the paper that they gave me, I could just tell that it helped me move on. Like, I wasn't even tripping on the last day. I was just like, totally go fly away, do your thing, grow up. You know, I had more of a solid, like, just let it go kind of feeling with them. So yeah, I printed it on there just to be symbolic, and I used the drawings that, like, I liked less. I still have a lot of their drawings. They used to give me a lot because we draw together a lot. So I had so many drawings, so I just shredded a few of them to make this beautiful paper that just represents, you know, let it go, move on, and do what's harmonious and what's natural, non-toxic, and normal. And it's someone else's kids at the end of the day. Move along. So all of the work I created in this printmaking situation that I was up to thus far has to do with letting go of the heartache, guilt, self-loathing, and the stories of our life. None of this is us. The past and the future is always just a figment of our imagination. Memories are made up. The only thing that ever exists is the present moment, and so many people fill it up with anxiety about the future and depression about the past, when in reality, life is merely successive moments of now. Whatever we breathe life into lives, so we must be conscious of who we are and the things we want to do within these precious moments of now, since that's all we have. And my art simply serves as reminders for me and for reminders of people who want to collect my work to live in the present moment, let go of our attachments, pack light, your dreams will never come true, and please don't leave. Just reminding yourself to be who you are, live as harmoniously as possible, as kind and present as we possibly can, and everything will work itself out, because that is the nature of who we are. Trust ourselves and trust that we will always get through it. Trust that we will always be okay, and we'll figure it out, and our problems become obsolete. Anyways, I'm going to have all 4 of these prints for sale. They're $40 each because they are a limited run. I only made 2, 3, 4 of each one. I've sold a few of each of them, so I only have a very, very limited amount. So that's why they're $40, and they're also fine art prints. They took me a very long time to make, and I made them with my hands. And you can definitely tell it's a quality that could not be achieved from a printer, and I'm confident when I say that. It's really, really cool to see the texture of the ink from this method of printmaking. I learned a lot. I see the value in printmaking, and I thank my teacher. At the end of the day, I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned and the skills that I was taught. I value them a lot, and also I value the overcoming of the obstacles that I needed to do. It just taught me a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Let me know in the comments if you got anything from what I've said, what particularly stood out to you, what made you feel closer to yourself. Please share. I would love to know that you're here. Love ya. Bye.